Hey, boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Soar High Personal Development, your source for encouragement,
positivity,
motivation, pop culture, rants.
I love the rants.
You love the rants. Ron's mixed bag.
Ron's mixed bag. Love the Ron's mixed bag.
Yes. Speaking of bags, I was thinking about the mailman's bag. I saw a mailman tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. still delivering mail.
Yep.
I have never seen that.
I've seen it a couple times.
I've never seen that.
Very recently, like within the last couple
That's
years.
crazy. Now, here's my question. How did that happen? Those routes aren't that long. This is like a residential neighborhood. So did something happen?
Less mail
heat?
people. Less mail people.
Man, I stopped. I was going to talk to the guy. I really felt bad for him, but he just kept walking. I don't think he wanted to talk to me.
No.
I was gonna say something to try to make him feel good.
It could be because it is brighter outside with like daylight saving.
But come on, man, 8 o'clock at night, delivering mail in a residential. I don't know, man. I feel bad for the guy.
I agree.
Something's not right. At any rate, so much for all that. Tonight we're going to talk about, the topic is worry.
Worry, okay.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, while I was sitting here looking at my notes, I know there's a song that's got that worry in it. And what's the song? Don't worry, be happy. Well, who's that?
Oh, yeah.
That was like a huge song back in the day.
There's that one, and then there's Don't Worry About a Thing.
Okay.
Because every little thing's gonna be. There's like two of them. Oh, I got you.
Okay, cool. So I told you last week or so that I've been having this thing going on in my head where every time I hear a word, I hear a song in my head. I've never done it. I've never done that before. It's crazy. And then lately it's been like a play on words. Like somebody said to me tonight, I'm sick. And I wrote him back, yeah, sick in the head. I mean, I know that's an old cliche, but it's like every time I hear something now, it's like I have this play on words going in my head, or I hear a song. It's crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I become crazy.
You might have.
Or am I crazy like a fox?
Or am I crazy and the whole world's crazy?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one. The whole world's crazy and I'm crazy too. Any rate, worry. What's the deal? Oh, yeah, that's the song.
We can't play too much of it because we're on YouTube, but Bobby McFerrin?
It's a big song. Huge song.
This is him now. That's a recent picture of him.
Wow, he's a little older now.
Yeah, a little older now.
He was like super young when I first saw him. Oh, well.
But yeah,
we're all going to get old. Speaking of old, I was watching on TikTok these filters that they're showing these young girls how they look when they're old, and they were freaking out. I don't know how those filters work. Somebody's got some technology.
Some AI.
It's crazy, man. I mean, like, you're talking about a 20-year-old girl that looks like 60, and it's shown right on top of each other, and she's looking at it going, oh my God, and she's touching her face. I can't believe how real this is.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's got to be AI, huh?
It is, yeah.
Speaking of AI, I read an article recently about how they're promising the AI, the robots, the humanoids, they're promising to take care of the old, and they're promising to not rebel and take over the world. Now, think about that. Like, who's making that happen? People, whoever's doing the AI, right? The Googles and the Facebook, the Mark Zuckerbergs, those guys that have all the money, and the Elon Musks that are creating all this AI industry. They're not, probably Jeff Bezos with Amazon as well. They have all that money they're putting into that industry, and they're probably doing a lot of public relations right now because people are freaking out like, oh, they're going to take over the world, we're going to all die, like preemptive strike, so to speak. I feel you're going to see a lot more of that going forward now, more PR work from that industry.
I mean, it's huge. AI is like getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? Speaking of what's going on in the future and technology, I read an article today about it's Ozempic. That's the diabetic drug that's helping people lose weight.
Okay.
But now they're saying that they think it's a prelude to it's influencing suicide.
Interesting.
So there's a big thing going on over in England about that, where they're studying that, and they may want to try to even put a stop to the drug.
So it's causing chemical imbalances.
Yeah. So they say. Now, some people say you can eat garlic and to get cancer. I mean, I'm just saying there's always you can say anything.
Right.
But if there's a study and it proves out.
It's true.
Okay, so, gee, I'm just worrying about everything.
No, I know. There's a lot.
See how worry goes?
Worries.
It's crazy. We worry about, let's just think about this. How much do we worry all the time? How much do we worry about, and how reasonable is the worry? And really, what is worry? What's worry? Fretting, being concerned about a particular subject that's causing you to be anxious. Is that worry?
Yeah, anxiety.
Would that be a good definition of worry?
Yes.
And you know what I've learned is that a lot of worrying is just really the brain, like making, considering what could happen. It hasn't even happened yet.
Right.
But you're fretting. Oh, I'm worried about money. I'm worried about my girlfriend. I'm worried about my job. I'm worried about my health. I'm worried about this. But the reality is that a lot of it's not even factual. It's just that your brain is. Have you ever had like dreams where you just, you wake up and you're in a cold sweat, or you're just you're just freaking out?
There's times where there's times during the day that I will. Okay, so today we were shooting a music video for Soar High Entertainment, Soar Records. And we were in an old abandoned power plant, but but it's abandoned, no voltage, no nothing. It wasn't on. Okay. And we see two police officers coming up. Okay. And just for a second, I was worried. I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna get kicked out, or we're gonna get a fine or something for trespassing." And they were just like, the railroad company just said, "Stay off the tracks. You guys keep doing your thing." So you see, a little bit of worry. It may be quick, maybe very fast. It could last a long time too. Yes. So that
reminds me of a story I remember when I was learning professional salesmanship. I went to a seminar when I was in my 20s, like your age, and one of the things they said in the seminar was they were talking about Bill was at this party, and all of a sudden he gets a phone call. Hey, Bill, you got a phone call? And Bill was going, "Oh my God, what happened?" And he gets on the phone and it's his wife. "You won the lottery." I mean, it's just an exaggeration. But the point I'm trying to make is that our brain tends to go to the negative.
The worst possible scenario.
Now, that's interesting because I don't think that's like environmental influence. I think that's the way our brains are wired.
Right, inherently.
Or is it? Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it is influenced.
Or is it
because we're around so much negativity, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's think of it. Most people think, and which I'm not saying any or all officers are bad, whatever. But as a young man of minority, cops can sometimes scare me. Make me feel uncomfortable, not necessarily scare me. They're more or less blah, 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 and I make them feel uncomfortable, just in general. But a lot of officers, it's not like that, but that's that worry that
so you're worried maybe, I got pulled over. Oh, now what? Crap.
Is he going to pull his gun out on me? Blah, 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 blah. But it could happen to anybody. That's what I'm saying. It happens to everyone.
So you think the brain is wired this way?
I think so. I think that
it tends to go to negative first.
Right, because it happened. Think about it. The first thing you think of is all of these people that have been killed by officers, and then same thing that goes through the officer's brain. All of these officers that have been killed by pedestrians. Okay. There's so many things that happen throughout the world that we see. Like you said, we see all this negativity. We jump to it.
That's true. But I'm still not 100% convinced that it's genetics or like the way the brain is. But maybe it's half that, and maybe the other half is environment. But I said that to say this. Why be? Let's change the wording here. Why be concerned? That's a synonym for worry about something that hasn't happened yet. Why do we anticipate a problem? What do we? Is it based on good sense, that our brains
hope for the best
and prepare for the worst.
That's it.
Okay, but that's not worrying. That's just management. That's managing.
It is, but that's what your brain is like. Okay, I'm going to prepare for whatever the bad thing that is about to happen, but I'm going to hope for the best.
I think that's a better way to look at it than, oh my God, this is going to happen.
Right.
We have to learn. I've learned to sort of wire my brain in a way that's more. I'm not going to be surprised if something happens, but I'm not going to fret. I'm not going to fret about it.
Right.
Yes, this is possible, but you know what? I'm not going to fret about that. I'm just going to focus on what's positive. And when somebody says, "Oh my God, Ron, I can't believe that this has happened, that's happened. I got to tell you about this," and I'm thinking, "Okay, tell me about it." In other words, I've learned that no matter how bad it is, it can only be so bad. It's not like the end of the world. Now, even if your world does end, think about it. Like I was talking to my coach the other day, my MMA coach, and I said, what's the worst case scenario? You're going to get knocked out. And if you get knocked out, you don't remember anything anyway. So, I mean, I've been knocked out before, and I don't remember even getting knocked out.
Right, it's true.
So if that's the worst case scenario, what do you got to be concerned about if you're going to be in a competition scenario?
Right.
Well, you could get injured. You could be in pain. Well, that's true, but when your endorphins are high because you're fighting, you probably don't feel much pain.
Right.
You might feel a lot of pain later.
Mm-hmm. You will.
But while you're fighting, you're probably... So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you have to maybe think things through a little more carefully before you get all freaked out about stuff.
Yeah.
That's a tip.
And that happens to me a lot. Like there will be times where it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to either, one, finish this thing that needs to get done by the end of the week, or am I going to have this thing done, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you don't have any control over it right now. And you still, like you said, you don't know the outcome yet. You're anxious for no reason.
What is the anxiousness about? Maybe I'm thinking to myself, in your case, maybe the anxiousness is you're worried that it's going to be well received, that your music that you finish.
Depends. Yeah.
You're concerned that people aren't going to like it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be appreciative of your effort. That you're not going to be thought of in a positive way. And so these are concern, but that creates worry.
Right. I'm
worried that they're not going to. I'm worried this isn't going to turn out. I'm worried. When we're talking about when you do mixing and mastering of your music, or do you do a beat, or you produce your artist,
anything.
So, but here's my read on that. It's like, well, you know what? You're doing everything that you're supposed to do. You've spent years getting to this point in your craft, and let's say it doesn't always work out 100%. You're going to have failures, but the wins are going to beat the losses, and you're going to win more battles than you're going to lose. You're still going to win the war. I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
It's okay to lose. We're going to win the war.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
You think the U.S. won every battle in World War II?
No, they lost a lot.
Yeah, they were slaughtered, but we still won.
We won the war.
You know what I'm saying?
We're not speaking German or Japanese.
See what I mean?
I see what you mean, Machine. I can't get this rhyming out of my head. I'm hanging out with you too much.
We're at 12 and a half minutes.
12 and a half minutes.
Just to let you know. I just wanted to keep you updated.
I'm a little worried about that.
I'm not.
I'm making fun of
the
subject. Oh my God.
Come on, you think I don't get the dry humor?
So I see the word fret in my notes here, and I'd even forgot that I wrote that word, but it just, to me, that's a really good synonym for worry. Fretting. I kind of like that word.
F-R-E-T?
Yeah, fretting.
Fret, like I like fret the night.
Yeah, I like fretting. I think that's a really good name. It's not as good of a name as a bard.
A bard.
I like that name.
An old bard. I need to make a song or a beat, name it Bard.
I like
have
bard.
Have it very like doom 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 doom.
So we talked about worry. Is it real? Is it not real? And we've gone through that discussion. How do we deal with worry? Well, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I think the best way to deal with worry is the same way that you deal with a lot of things in life. You have to make sure you get plenty of rest. Make sure you got to eat right. I saw an article the other day about nutrition. They say now maybe nutrition may be more important than sleep or exercise.
It is. Your gut is controlled. Like it releases more hormones. Like there's a specific hormone that it releases, and it releases more of that hormone than your brain does. And it's specific about sleep and like mental health. It's kind of crazy.
Well, it's the trio though: rest, exercise, and nutrition.
It's all intertwined.
I sound like a broken record, but really and truthfully,
they all go hand in glove together.
They go hand in glove. Speaking of hormone, though, what about pheromones? How do pheromones work? You don't know what that is? Pheromones. Pheromones
like
is what we give. Yeah, FER. That's what we give off. It's a sexual thing. And that's what people are attracted to.
Oh, like pheromones?
Is it pheromones?
Yeah, pheromones. P-H-E-R-O-M-O-N-E-S.
How do you spell it?
P-H-E-R-O-M-O-N-E-S.
I think it's pronounced pheromones.
Pheromones, yep.
Pheromones.
Are substances which are secreted to the outside by an individual and received by a second individual of the same species.
Right, but how does it affect the other person?
It's usually used for mating. Usually used for mating. Like insects, a lot of reptiles do the exact same thing. but it's like
so there's something, but you can't see it, you can't smell it. It's just like an invisible thing.
Yes,
that's
sometimes you can though. So like,
I don't think you can. No, that's smelling like BO or something.
Yes, okay. So that's what I was going to get into.
That's not a pheromone.
It is. It is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it is
not. It is. There are people that are attracted to the smell of like a person.
But that's not what a pheromone is. A pheromone is you can't smell it or see it. It's something that secretes, and somehow the brain understands it. It's a crazy deal.
There's a lot that goes into it.
So much for pheromones and hormones and
into it.
All that stuff. That's crazy. That's a whole other subject on a whole other day. So how do you manage worry? Well, you just have to stay. You can't manage worry by getting high. You can't manage worry by ignoring it. You have to accept the idea that you're going to have. Let's don't use the word worry. You're going to have concerns, and the best way to handle concerns, in my opinion, is to hit it. Like I always say, hit everything head on. Manage it. Write it down and just massage it a little bit. Like, is this really that's worth me writing about? Is this really that important? Or maybe I'm just like being nervous because that's my personality, and I need to really work on this. I need to like get a better night's sleep. I need to work out more. Like I can tell you, there's a lot of days where I feel stressed, a little, not crazy stressed, but so much. If I go to the gym and I work out, most of the rest of my day is smooth sailing. So whatever makes that happen, it's a good thing to work out.
Right.
Even if it's just 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes I just go with my tie on. People look at me like I'm crazy. I don't care. In fact, I usually go in with my tie on, and I don't take my clothes off and change.
Your Facebook profile picture is you on a weight machine in the normal get up, and I love it.
Thank you. And I don't do it to like say, hey, I want to be different. It's just, to me, it's convenient. Because I'm constantly on the phone. When I'm traveling to the gym or anywhere, I'm taking phone calls from my company because I am the office. And it's just easier than taking my clothes up, putting on gym, having to answer the phone. It's just everything's simpler.
I agree.
And I try to keep my life efficient in terms of how I operate. So for me, it works. Other people, I get it, probably wouldn't work.
I agree.
So the drug and alcohol thing, I think that's a Band-Aid. You got to exercise. You got to get good rest. Maybe counseling. That's also a big deal. And I don't mean necessarily going to a psychologist, but although it did work for me years ago, it was very effective. But counseling could be just like a friend or a preacher or a rabbi or a teacher or a mentor. Yes.
I am on this huge, you need someone to follow, but not follow, someone to be with you.
Somebody you can sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
We talked about, are we naturally negative? I think so. I think our brain like goes to negative first.
I would probably say.
It senses danger. That's got to be like something in our DNA, isn't it?
So,
because back when animals were like, "Oh my God, I'm going to get eaten if I don't. I got to run. I've got fight or flight," right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it's
in our DNA.
Yes,
that's crazy. Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
It must have been pretty crazy back then.
There's a lot that goes into that. There is a lot that goes into that. I learned a lot about that in school. I mean, there's so many different situations where, even if you are usually a fight person, you may flight.
Really?
Yes, and then there's another F. I forget. There's one more. There's it's crazy.
Okay, one last thought before we get on to a couple of rants and we'll get out of here. Can we reprogram our brains to be more positive?
Yes, and no. So
I think we can reprogram our brains to do anything. If we really work at it.
Yes, and that's my biggest thing. Is it takes a lot. There's more.
Well, it's repetition. Mm-hmm. It's like anything with repetition will create success. It has to be repetition.
Or it can be the other way. If something's repeated that is like a negative connotation. So think of it like this is a very extreme example, but a father is a racist and they raise a kid to think the exact same way as them.
That's really where racism comes from.
Exactly. It's taught. It's taught. So it's like, once it stops, then it doesn't get taught more. Right. But it's all about, like you said, like environmental.
Yes.
And you see.
You become what you think. You become who you surround yourself with.
And you see the person of color or whatever you're racist towards, and you're like, and your first thing is, oh my God, I don't like them because of their color, blah, 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 blah. So.
Okay, well, let's get off the serious stuff and let's talk about some fun
rants.
Couple, two or three of these, and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
So I'm pissed about something.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
This is like so stupid.
Okay.
So in our office complex, there's a Coke machine. I've probably talked about this before.
Barks, sponsor us.
Yeah, please sponsor us. So here's the deal. You open up the bottle. It's not a can anymore. It has to be a bottle. It's not 50 cents anymore. It's like $2, which to me is
$1.75, which is...
It's off the charts.
That is crazy.
It's ridiculously crazy. It's just bizarre. It's like insulting to me. It's not the money. It's the idea that it's just ridiculous. It's not right. Okay, but set that aside. You open up the effing bottle, and what happens? Everywhere. That's number two. Okay. Now it gets even worse. I cleaned up the floors because when they walk through the hallways, and I'm talking about employees, friends, vendors,
whoever.
You know, whoever's in the building, because we've got a pretty large office complex. I clean up all the floors, and by the next day, guess what? The floors are full of Coke again. Again. Because people aren't smart enough to recognize when they're walking down the effing hallway, not to let the cap off 100%. They have to let it off slowly so it doesn't come out on the floor. Exactly. So every effing day, it repeats itself. Yeah, so you know what? I've got a beef with two people. First of all, the Coca-Cola people. Okay. For selling us a product that would allow that to be the case. Okay. Number two, hyped up the prices to where it's ridiculous. And number three, with the friggin' person that buys the Coke and doesn't have enough effing common sense to handle it to where you don't get it on the floor and then track it. It's not just us on the floor. They're tracking it up and down the floor. I wish I had a camera to show everybody. It's ridiculous.
No, I see it from here.
It's just friggin' ridiculous.
I know. I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
So much for that rant. Okay, ready for this one?
I'm ready.
I locked my effing keys in the car.
No, you didn't.
I'm telling you, I preach all the time about it, and here I did it. You know, here's what happened. I recently had my car worked on, and I had to get a new key made. Okay. All right. Well, that key doesn't open and lock the doors, and I don't have like, what do you call it, the
fob.
I don't have a fob.
Okay.
So I pull up to my office one night late. I see a lot of people in the parking lot because there's a bar in our parking in our area here. A lot of people. I got stuff in the car that could be worth some money, and so I locked the car, not even thinking that my key doesn't open the car door. Now I kept I kept the original key in my car in the glove box or in the side compartment. Mm-hmm. So when I locked the door, I didn't remember that I forgot to take that key. Now I keep the key in my pocket. Mm. But at the time, so here I call Papa Lock. Now this is funny, kind of. Okay. So Papa Lock's who I've always called over the years because I've done this before and I've referred other people to them. Right. And they just come out and they do the thing with the
the Slim Jim. The Slim Jim.
Right. Which I, at one point in my automotive repair career, did have those tools. But I think that guy disappeared and I never have repurchased. At any rate, so I called the lady up and said, hi. She goes, hi, this is Karen with Papa Lock. I said, I got one for you. And it was silence. I said, I've got one for you. Silence. And then all of a sudden she says, and she said in this really monotone voice, you got what for me? And I said to myself, doesn't anybody have a sense of humor anymore?
I got key
come on, man.
In a car that's locked. And I need you to come here and get it.
So I explained that to her. So now it gets even more interesting to me. Okay. Because I'm a dry humor guy. I thought it was funny. But this lady was like so dry. Okay, so the lady comes out. So with Papa Lock's great. They come right out. It's 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Their little SUV or their little hybrid Prius or whatever they got. Yeah. Papa Lock on the hood. Yeah. And it's only $49. I mean, they're like cheap. We charge like $88 minimum to show up when we do an automotive repair. Any rate, I heard the Karen who I talked to, the dispatcher.
No, her name was not Karen.
Yes, okay. Karen was on the phone talking to the lady that came out to fix my car or to get my key or unlock my car, and she was making fun of what I said. So I'm standing there, and Karen's on the phone. Yeah, and he said, "I got one for you. Hey, I got one for you. Can you believe that he?" And she started going into this discussion. So the lady was like recognizing what was happening and shut the phone off. But I'm just trying to make a point that, I mean, come on, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Lighten up a little bit, please. Yeah. I mean, come on. I was just trying to have a little fun.
And like you're at your job to take the phone.
Yeah.
And like you probably haven't had anyone be like overly fun or anything like that. Like, come on.
She couldn't have been any more dry. But you know what? When people call me for service work, I'm always having fun with
Hello?
people. I mean, I like to have fun with people because I know they're already stressed out.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
This lady was like, "Oh, this guy's, he's really that guy. I don't know what his trip. Come on, man." Okay, one more thing, we'll get out of here.
That's perfect because we're at 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Oh my God. So this is a real positive thing to end on. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
They think they've got a breakthrough now on a new Alzheimer's drug that won't cure it, but it will extend the life of the patient to where they'll have more
cognition
longer, and it will push the Alzheimer's symptoms off longer.
That's good.
So they just came out with this, and it's not a cure, but I thought that's really positive because it's a bad disease, man.
Yeah.
It screws up the family, it screws up the person, everybody loses. So I thought that was really cool. That's a brand new drug. It's called, I can't even pronounce the name, but LECONEMA, something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
LEC.
All right, so we'll end it on a positive note. How about that?
I like that.
Any closing thoughts, sir?
If you have worries or concerns, it's a good way to put it, concerns.
Yeah, I like that.
If you are overall anxious and have concerns about things, from someone who is anxious and concerned 99% of the time, the best way to deal with those, like you said, you have to realize that you don't have control over the situation yet. Let it play out, and then when the iron is right to strike, when the iron's hot, go ahead and strike and do your thing. Do what you need to. But the build-up is the most anxious part. That's the most nerve-wracking part.
Yes.
Like a show.
Yeah.
I love a show the day of, getting there, having fun.
Yeah.
But everything before that, the 2-3 days before that, nervous wreck. I just hate it.
Yeah.
It's just like, is everything going to go right? You don't know.
You don't
I have no idea.
No, you don't know.
Probably not. Now, that's kind of what I think, like when a show comes up, I'm like,
there's going to be problems.
There's going to be a problem. Yeah. I don't know when it's going to be, what it's going to be.
But the audience is probably going to be happy with the performance.
Exactly.
You're going to see things they don't see.
Good. If the good outweighs the bad, most of the time the good outweighs the bad.
That's what's up.
And I agree with that. That's my closing thought.
So on that positive note, here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal, pickle.
Here's the dill pickle.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
Here's the dill pickle.
Just remember, if you don't give up, the stars will usually line up. No, I said it wrong.
No, the stars will always line up.
Always line up. So,
always.
Always. So all you have to do is stay positive, stay the course, and never give up. Until next time, have a great day.